Hi, I'm Ethan Oates,
Hey everybody, I'm Joe Hoskins.
and today we're here to talk about secrets of Salem's Island. There's a lot of secrets in the
Yeah, man.
Salem's Island. Um, Me and Joe have been researching Salem's Island, and of course, you all know me and Joe has formed a team. And since I returned, and we started YouTube, and we started Group Room, and we're trying to figure out why these giants are there, what's
Right.
creating the giants, what's creating the Bigfoot creatures, and the other creatures that are there. So we've been researching that for a while now, and we're starting to come up with some real wild things.
Yeah, yeah.
And today we're going to talk about some real wild stuff. Um, During my journey to Salem's Island, my visit there, seeing giants, and my friend getting pictures. Um, a lot of these pictures have these gray aliens in them. And these gray aliens look like the gray alien, they similar to the gray alien they show on TV and social media, real similar.
So you
Um,
would recognize it as a gray
yes,
alien if you
yes.
saw it. But now, what size are these
Big
things that
head,
you're
big eyeballs. They look similar. Like I see a lot of these gray aliens that they've shown in the past on documentaries and stuff, and they were like
Uh-huh.
3 footers. These are,
Yes.
they look identical to that, but they're 14 footers.
Yeah,
So a lot of them are
yeah,
14
a little different.
footers. Yes. So, and why I'm saying
Yeah.
14 footer, Joe, is in the picture, you can see, in the pictures, you can see that they're very tall. You can tell they're taller than normal,
Yeah.
by the structure
They're
of the
not little
trees and
4 foot
the.
green aliens. They're not
Yes.
4 feet tall. They're
No.
14 feet tall.
No. And then when I returned home, it bothered me so much on my journey. Of course, a lot of you know because I've talked about it before.
Yeah.
That I started researching, and I got on Google Earth, and I thought if I could see these giants in these pictures, then you could see them on Google Earth. You should be able to.
Sure,
You could
yeah,
see
they have to be
houses.
big enough to see. If you could see them,
Yeah. So
the ones you described were
yeah.
some of them were well into 50 foot range,
So I started
which is huge.
researching,
Should be able to see.
and I was finding a lot of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I've also found a lot of those gray aliens on Google Earth researching, to where I got to measure them and see
Yeah,
how tall they were. And I found a lot of them, Joe.
yeah.
A lot of them on Google Earth. I
And
have
see,
a
that's
lot of
interesting.
Google
That
Earth snapshot pictures of clear looking aliens and some crazy shit
things that
going
we
down.
would just call like with a giant head. Not, in other words, this is a head that's not human. It's no humans have a head or an eye sockets with that ratio. And the thing about the alien heads is the eye sockets are often very large, much larger than an orbital socket for a human skull. And
Definitely.
you just can't, and that's no cranial enlargement and all that business. This is just a different creature, and it's it's not something you get to put in a little bag that easy and go, well, it's a little green man. Well, how about they're not so little first off? And then you figure that out, and then you can go from there. It's like, well, what else? What other things don't we know about them? Quite a bit, actually, except for that they are real and they're there. And of course, that makes a great number of people uncomfortable, and it probably should, but it's
So
just a reality,
I'm seeing on Google Earth, doing research, seeing a lot of
Yeah,
gray aliens, and took a lot of snapshot pictures of them, real good ones. And
yeah,
and these gray aliens are standing around, a lot of them, with the hairy giants that look like Bigfoot. And not only
So they're
this,
coexisting together,
Joe,
and they're not fighting. They're there together.
And not only this is on the pictures my friend took, the 265 pictures, a lot of them have gray aliens in them. And the gray aliens are standing there next to these Bigfoot hairy looking creatures, and they're not fighting, and they're just standing there, and just like and the Bigfoot creature is standing next to them, like they're okay together. And then in the same picture,
almost like they're on the same team.
In the same picture, there's all these other giant creatures that are fighting each other with weapons and shit. So and they're going at it and they're fighting, and the big hairy giant creature just standing there next to the gray alien like no big deal. And these gray aliens, they have a black looking robe, like a cape on them, like a cape. It goes down. A lot of them do, and a lot of them don't. So I don't know if I'm starting to think the ones with the robes are the ones more in charge than the other ones that aren't.
Well, the robe,
because there's some with nothing. They're naked looking.
The black robe would be fantastic if you wanted to hide something, because it's amazing how a dark color, your mind over distance will call it a shadow. You'll just dismiss it instantly rather than look at what is that shape. When you see it dark, you just assume it's a shadow, and they know this, and so it's a very effective type of camouflage just to have a dark cloak. If you're a huge thing, you stand in some trees, you're not going to stand out. The trees are going to stand out. They're catching the light. The black cloak, of course, repels light. Black, the absence of color, so and now we see that a lot. And then, of course, the other half of the time, it's a scrubber with a black pen scrubbing them out.
Yes. Google Earth definitely covers the shit up. They scrub shit out. They
blur it.
And the hard part about it is these giants throughout the world, because not only Salem's Island, Joe finds them in different places as well. That's right. And has shown me. And these giants, they move. So next year, they're not going to be in that same spot. They're going to walk to another area.
They've got legs. And who knows that they
might as well scrub the whole entire world. You know what I mean? They might as well just cover it all up.
I don't think this point gets emphasized enough. The giants, one of the things, two things they're famous for, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but one of the things they're famous for, the giants, whenever they show up to a new land, the first thing they would do is dig wells. And they were very famous for the giants would show up and dig a well. And they said, and the people would say, wherever they dug a well, it was always excellent water, and it never ran dry. They just had this knowledge of where to dig a water well. But if you imagine that you're a giant, you're going to need some water. So I thought that was really interesting that one of the first things they do is dig a giant well so they can get water.
And I find that interesting too, Joe, because in Salem's Island, there's like a river that comes through the mountain, and it's like, is it coming out of the mountain? I've never followed that river on Google Earth all the way through to see. Makes me wonder, though, if it's coming up out of the mountain and coming down, because it sure in the hell ain't going up.
The second part of what I was going to talk about there was the giants are also super famous for tunneling underground. Big giant tunnels underground that you can drive tanks through or an airplane through, that big, because the giants are big and they want to move through there. And what happens is you get these giants that can tunnel through literally from country to country underground and travel without ever being seen in these subterranean tunnels. And then you get stories like you hear about stories out there in Denver at that airport out there that they said was nobody needed a new airport, and then somebody rode the elevator too far down and saw the giant urinals. Said there were urinals on the wall that you'd have to be 20 feet tall to piss in them. You know,
statues all around this airport.
Yeah, this what I'm saying.
Creepy statues. This place Joe's
Well,
talking
there's
about. They got
there
all
are things
kinds
called-
of weird stuff at that airport, man. They had
Yeah.
paintings on the walls with it
Yes.
looked like almost like Nazis running around with masks on. And,
Yeah,
I mean, there's
with
some crazy
end
stuff.
of the world stuff,
Yes.
end of the world propaganda, terror stuff.
Mhm.
Is what it was, and of course that's been covered up since. But boy, there's clear pictures of it that for years that stood there. So this shows you that sometimes the powers that be will call them, whoever they may be, and we'll leave it at that. But they know about these underground tunnels, and they're called DUMBs, D-U-M-B, deep underground military bases. And they're all over the world. And of course, you know, Cheyenne Mountain is an example. There's all these different examples of them.
Phil Snyder, he owned a drill and he was a driller.
Absolutely. Phil Snyder, that's a real story. And Phil Snyder lost his hand and his whole chest was split open by a beam that this alien shot at him. And he said I'd have been dead if it wasn't for a special forces troop who threw me in an elevator and hit it to the top. He said, or I'd be dead.
Yeah,
and of course they got rid of him. You know, they got rid of Phil. Of course, I don't know who did that, but he died mysteriously. We'll put it that way.
Yeah,
and he told a lot of real stories about these aliens underground, and they were not nice. He said it wasn't good. You know, it wasn't. Oh, they're cool and they've come to save us. It was not that. So see, there's something to learn.
Didn't
right
he say
there.
2029? And that's coming up, man. A lot of stuff that he talks about, the FEMA facilities and shit, all happened. So if you listen to his whole conference, a lot of the shit he talks about happened. It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know, man. So, anyways, we're going to get back to this then. That's some interesting shit, everybody. Really interesting, you know. It's like, man, and it all comes together to, you know, and the one big thing it teaches you. You start learning this and that, and it's like, what? You know what I mean?
I think it would be cool today if you had the ability to show some pictures, man, that we could share with people.
Definitely. So,
dude, and let people see what we're talking about.
I'm gonna try the best with this, Joe. I don't know how it's gonna work. We're gonna pull up some of these wild Google Earth pictures.
Show some of our technical wizardry. Yeah.
Yes. So we're trying to figure out what's going on Salem's Island.
Absolutely.
And who's creating these creature giants and stuff.
Yeah.
And we have other people besides me and Joe, very important person. And we're trying to figure out who's creating these beings, because the chief of the island...
Right. Well, the reason we're trying to look at it that way is because the chief himself said that there's a witch doctor at the top of the mountain that's that is creating beings, is the way he put it. And that is, you know, that may sound ridiculous. It's completely doable in today's world. It's called the CRISPR system. And you can genetically alter genes and make hybrid creatures today. You can get a box with this stuff in it. So if we can get that, certainly this has been around a minute. So to think that... and then you got to understand that these creatures that we're talking about and these beings, they have knowledge from fallen angels, which is superior to our knowledge about genetics, about how to make a monster. Why is it in antiquity that you hear stories about a man who's half man and half horse? Why do you hear about a centaur? Why do you hear about mermaids? Why do you hear about the bull-headed man, the minotaur? Because these things existed, and it's ridiculous to say they didn't. Why do you know about dragons? Because they're all over the Chinese. They talk about them all the time. Because they were real, you know? And, of course, it's real simple. Kent Hovind or somebody said it real simple. I mean, reptiles never stop growing. So if you had the pre-flood world where things lived hundreds of years, and you have a reptile growing for hundreds of years that never stops growing, you're going to end up with some huge reptiles, some big old monster lizards or dragons is what they call them. And they got really big as the longer they lived, because they lived in the pre-flood world, which had 32% oxygen versus 21% now. And that's been proven because they found it in amber, frozen. And that's how they figured out. They found a mosquito frozen in there and then a pocket of air, and they checked that air, and it had way more oxygen in it than today's world. So that's how we know that the pre-flood world, things could be stronger, bigger, faster, all that. And then, of course, now the Bible tells you there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that. This tells you they returned, and they're not all gone. So
no.
That's what you can take away from that. For all those people who say, well, the giants...
There's definitely
they say, well, the giants are talked about in the Bible, but they're not real today. That's not true, not even close. And I'm not talking about basketball giants. I'm talking about 20 feet, 50 feet tall, 100 feet tall people, gigantic. And some of them are people, man. And that's the hard part. You know, if you could just say, oh, well, they're all people, your mind can start to, but it's the variety of them is just, you know.
It's too bizarre, and that's and the variety that I've seen in the pictures of my friend took, and on Google Earth, and you've seen on Google Earth, and you've seen of some pictures. It's now I can see why the chief thinks there's some sort of witch doctor creating, because there's a lot of these different creature giants, man.
And I'll have to dig this picture up. I probably can't get it today, but I will dig this picture up for a future show. But I was looking at Solomon's Island, and I found some big giants, and I seen this big giant facing this way and some smaller giants. And I thought, wow, this is a great picture, you know. So I take the picture. I look down below, and out of this little valley into the scene, and I'm going to describe what I saw, are these... It looked like crystal skulls, like see-through crystal skulls, sort of, but they had legs like a spider.
Wow. And
it was a human head with spider legs, and these things were crawling, and I'm just like, now, come on, man. But it's like, it's in the picture. This is the thing. You know, you could say, oh, well, that cannot exist.
It's amazing.
You can say that in your mind.
It's so amazing, but you know, if you really think about the concept, and we've talked about on another show, the Kandahar giant, and there being a giant, and them knowing of a giant, you think they would have went in there and tranquilized it, netted it, took it back, caged it, and tried to talk to it. No, they were straight up kill and get rid of the evidence.
Absolutely.
Shoot to kill. Shoot to kill. The troops were told shoot to kill.
Neutralize this threat. They had lost a team. And then when they got there, they lost the team leader. The giant walked right out and skewered him with supernatural speed. And people don't talk about that. But
I think
I've
a
heard
lot
that
of places,
story, and it's a real story.
I think a lot of places in the world that they keep the giants back, and when the giants get too close, they go in and shoot to kill and remove. So that we don't know. So we're not.
There are areas in the world where the giants just are there, and I think people have learned to well leave them alone. If you know, like I say, I ran into that.
Some places it's like that. Some places it's like that, Joe. Solomon's Island, they don't do that. They don't go in there and shoot to kill. They don't. Not that we know of. Those people there, the tribal people, worry about being attacked. You know, they're worried about being attacked by giants.
Imagine you're an indigenous population that lives on this island, and you know it's full of man-eating giants.
Yes.
You can't get off the island.
No.
You are going to develop some really good habits that keep you from being eaten, and you're going to stick to those. Like, we don't go into the
Yes.
woods to go to the bathroom.
Yes,
We
they
don't
have
do
their
that.
ways.
The chief
They
said,
have their
"Hey, we
ways.
don't do that," And so, and people can go, "Oh, well, that's just silly." Well, not to them at all. And if it were you, it's just like, you could pretend to jump out in the water and go, "Well, there are no sharks here."
Yeah.
It's like, hell, you don't know that, man. I remember being on vacation one time, and I told this German couple in Florida, and I was out there swimming in Florida, about waist deep water, and I saw a big shark come by and hit my leg with his side fin. Well, I turned around and got out of the water, and I was trying to tell these German people could speak English. And I said, "Hey, don't go in the water. There's a big shark out there." They said, "Oh, there's no sharks out here, not in Florida." I said, "Where are you guys from? Germany?" I said, "Yeah, you need to learn about Florida a little." I said, "Yes, there are big sharks. Don't go in the water right now." And they just laughed at me. And I don't know if they went in, but I left. I was like, "Don't go in the water." But people just,
out of that shit.
people are just like, they have in their mind, like, giants aren't real. That can't be real. You're crazy. And it's like,
we have a set mind.
it's not fun.
Yeah, in the way everyone's raised in certain places. It's in certain places.
Yeah.
Where you learn so much and then your mind just closes and that's it. Go to work, come home, pay bills, man.
Well, imagine being the guy. Imagine being the guy that says, you believe in giants, or they're real, or you've got pictures of them, and people just going, "Oh man, you're ridiculous." The same thing that the first people that got a picture of Bigfoot, or the first person that got a picture of a flying saucer, or the first person that said, "Holy crap, man, all this stuff is not on the level." You know what I mean? And,
it changes your life. I mean,
you can be laughed at, but dude,
it
sometimes
your life.
you just got to stick to your guns and say the truth is the truth, man.
It changes
Let
your
the
life.
chips fall where they
it feels good to know the truth, though, and it feels good to know what's really going on and how they control and contain it and keep it at bay and all the bullshit they do. I mean, and obviously they do that for a good reason. I don't know. You know what I mean? So So it's as Joe was saying, all these different creatures on the island. That in the chief talks of witch doctor, he believes, and this is what he said, that the chief said that people of tribals in on Salem's Island, not just his village, not just his tribe, he's talking of all of them, believe that there's some sort of witch doctor up there creating these creature giants. And he's not talking. He's talking about the creature-looking ones. These are alien-looking creatures, dog-looking creatures, all kinds of just different creatures.
Another one, the giants were fighting on the beach. It had a body like an insectoid that looked like a praying mantis body down here that came up to an alien head with spider legs coming out of this thing.
Yes.
And this thing was enormous. And these other giants are fighting this thing, and they've got weapons, and you can tell this is not good. But this alien thing is totally grinning from ear to ear. Like, he just thinks this whole thing is hilarious. And these giants are just ready to kill him, and I'm just like, there's that picture. It's, what do you do with that, man? It's like, and people go, "Well, that's ridiculous." I can show you the picture, and there it is. It's like, well, I'll be damned.
So me and Joe is trying to figure out, and somebody else is trying to figure out what's doing this. So we've researched witch doctors. And I mean, there's not witch doctors around the world known of creating a being that we know of, because if there was, you think we would be, busting it down and, hey man, and it would be up on the news, they brought someone back to life or they made a creature. You think that would be around. I mean, just common sense, you think it would be. I mean, maybe it's hid. I don't know. We got to think common wise now. So the chief also says that there's a light that comes every couple days over to the top part of the hill, the top peak, where the giants are. That's where he says a lot of the giants are. They're all over this island, but the main is, you know,
to the top peak.
Yes.
And boy, I've seen some really interesting peaks on that island too.
And,
video there.
And so this light comes over to the top and like spends the night until the morning time. As soon as the daylight starts to appear, that light goes back and leaves before it turns bright light outside.
So it's a schedule-like thing. It's like weekly.
And it's every couple days. Every 3 days, he said.
Oh, every couple days?
Yes,
wow.
Every 2-3 days. So...
Interesting. And of course, the chief notices this, so it must be interesting to him, because you can imagine the night sky is very dark.
These people are spiritual. These people are spiritual, so they they're spiritual people, and they believe in spiritual things are spiritual because of all the different creature giants and shit they live around. I don't know,
man.
you know, maybe just opens you up to being, I'm spiritual. So, with this, and by Joe investigating, I investigating, another person investigating, we're all trying to figure it out. We're coming down to these gray aliens being in a lot of these pictures, and then I also have a lot of them on Google Earth to show you as well. And so I'm going to pull up one right now. We're going to try to see how this works. So, Joe, you lead me on. I'm going to hold the camera up to the picture.
Okay.
And you tell me if it looks clear for everybody, so everybody can see.
I'll check it out.
You kind of see what I'm saying? The best of the... Because you can see pretty good. And I'll try to point out what's going on here to all you guys. So here we go. I'm going to try now. I don't want to be wobbly or nothing. I'm going to try to get on here. Okay.
Gotta hold her steady. Ooh, that's an interesting picture.
Right here is a giant. That's his nose. That's his eye. That's his other eye. That's his nose. This is his mouth. This is his chin. Do you see it, Joe?
Yeah.
It's a giant head.
Yeah, I can see the face.
With skin on it, cut off.
It is a giant head.
Cut off.
What?
Now I want to show you right here. Here's a gray alien. I'm going to start at his foot and go up his leg.
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about? To his head.
Yeah.
Now this right here and this right here are other gray aliens standing next to this alien. You're just not seeing the body because the body is behind that gray alien there.
See the gray one there.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see the gray.
You can see it? Now...
There also may be another there up at the top of that picture.
Yes, that's another thing I want to show you too. So this picture is really hard to... It's really confusing and really hard to see off of the camera I have on right now. I will also take this picture and I will post it on the YouTube post area, and I'll post it on the group room so people can see and zoom in and clear the picture up themselves. So there's hairy giants.
Big face over there.
Yes, I want to say there's hairy giants back here, and on the regular picture, if I post it, you'll see that these are the Bigfoot-looking hairy giants. And there's one right here even. And they're standing around, and they're not attacking these gray aliens. They're not attacking them at all. These gray aliens are looking inside this picture right here. There's a square cutout right here, and there's a skull inside there that I'm touching it. On the regular picture, you will see that skull. Okay, on the regular picture when I post it. And over here looks like either a crown or a swastika inside this box. Do I need to go in closer at all, Joe, or
Let's
hold
see.
still?
Yeah, if you can get any closer to that box, I'd look at that. Yeah, that's better. That looks like a face to me in that box, like a two eyes and a face type thing.
I wonder
that's
if
really
it's something
interesting.
inside there then. Also in this picture, you can see there's another head right here that's chopped off.
Yeah.
And these are giants. Those aren't normal sized skulls. Whoops.
Yeah. Those are huge skulls. That would be. Oh, that bottom skull would be 20 feet tall. 20 feet, maybe.
Humongous.
At least.
See, inside that box, it's like you can see some sort of design in there. Right inside there, folks.
Yeah.
It's like, is that a crown or something? Or what the hell is that? But on the regular picture, there's a little hole right here with a skull in there. Or it might even be an alien. If you zoom in on the picture, you
really
can see.
Like a lot of.
Yes. But these are definitely gray aliens.
You know?
And on the regular picture, when I post them on the post of YouTube and on the group room, zoom in, everybody, and look. You'll see eyeballs on this dude, and you'll see his body when you zoom in.
I think I think it's pretty interesting there, man. I really do. I think that could be an example of some ancient architecture. And what's really stands out about it is it's extremely old, obviously, but yet it has a futuristic look. It's not like
this dude looks like he has hair still on his head.
Yeah.
The one in the back looks like he's part skull.
Yeah. That's interesting, man.
Yeah. It's like, whoa.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty wild, eh? So these gray aliens...
This is how we do it, though,
These gray aliens obviously are not fighting with the Bigfoot creatures.
Yeah.
They're
you can
definitely
see that
not fighting with the Bigfoot creatures.
No, there you are. That was cool, man.
Oh, I have a lot more. Oh, so let's go back. I'll try to hold that camera and so I can show you. Okay. Whoops. Let me see if I can't. Bear with me, everybody. And get a better look here. Okay. Boom.
Yeah.
Whoops. I gotta try to get... Maybe if I do this. Tell me when I'm looking good, Joe.
There you go.
Okay. Now I'm going to click through. Whoops.
Now you're a little close. Back her out, though.
Kind of click through and see. There you go. Those aliens are 15 feet tall. I'm sorry, not 14, 15.
Yeah.
That's the measurement on those.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big one.
Whoops.
15, yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Look, you can see that gray alien standing there. And when you zoom in that regular picture, like I said, you'll definitely be able to see the faces on the other two. You'll see their eyeballs and shit looking, and you'll see it looks like a gray alien. It's just amazing, man. It's like, what's
awesome.
Going on? You know what I mean?
Look at that. I think that looks like almost like a serpent or something, or like
that
a
dude back there.
Reptile.
That's pretty wicked.
In the front with that green looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
It almost looks like a reptile or something with its mouth
right
open. Yeah, over to the left there, right at the top of that alien's head. That could be.
Oh, those are two other gray aliens. When you zoom in, you can see their eyeballs, their mouths, and everything on the regular picture, Joe. They're two other gray aliens standing there.
There's something there, isn't it, man?
And they have like a glow to them. They're weird, dude. It's fucking wild, dude.
Some of these things can be weird.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Definitely.
You can get weird in it, man. Pretty quick.
Definitely. It's like, what the hell? You know, I'm going to see if oh, here's another picture. Yeah, it's a little clearer. I don't know. I tried to clear up a couple of those.
What the hell is this stuff?
I tried to clear up a couple of those. There's also a picture that I've also found here, and I'll show everybody if I can find it real quick here, Joe. This is pretty wild. if I can find it. I don't know if everybody can make it out, but we'll see how that goes if I can find it.
Sometimes you gotta hunt.
Yeah, I don't want to really take time from everybody though. You know, so I'll post. What I'll do is I'll post a lot of these alien pictures. I'll post them on the post of YouTube, and I'll also post them on the group room so everybody can see that.
The brightened up one. Have you got the latest one I sent you? That's pretty good. I sent some good ones. There's one that I'm on the fence of whether it's a giant or whether it's a big temple with a big giant head at the top of it. You know, it could go either way. Either way, it would be extremely interesting. You know, I mean, if you find a giant temple with a head at the top of it, that's cool. If you find a big giant with a big head, that's cool.
I don't know if anybody can see this, but I'll show this, Joe, and we'll see if they can see this. I've showed this to Joe. This is a big giant skull, and you can see where something has a trail going in the skull.
Let's see, you got to go a little bit lower.
A little bit lower?
Yeah, over to the right, too. There you go, lower. There you go. Yeah, that bottom.
That's the opening of the mouth of the skull. Or the nose and mouth. And then you have the eyeballs.
Yeah.
And then
that's enormous.
There's another skull back here.
So you can see the roadway leading to the mouth of it.
You can see exactly.
That's crazy.
Look at that shit.
Yeah, and people go, oh, there can't be big giant skulls that big. There can be. There they are.
Yeah, there definitely
is. And it's like,
there definitely is, Joe. The evidence is right in front of everybody, and it's you know, in a Google Earth, man, you can look at it yourself, and you can see crazy shit.
Yeah.
You know it, Joe. And it's
Absolutely.
If people would just kind of open their eyes a little bit and take a look and be like, you know what I mean? You'll see a lot of crazy shit.
Well, one of those pyramids I found in Grundy had the most enormous set of steps going up beside it. And people go, oh, that's probably steps to an old house. I said, if you looked at those steps, you couldn't walk up them steps if your life depended on it. It's 5 feet each one, you know. It's for giants, man. And people just got, well, that can't be a step. Who could walk up that? Well, big giants can pretty easy.
Yeah.
You know, and
it amazes me. It amazes me, everyone, because Joe is really good on Google Earth. He is phenomenal. He sees shit, he finds shit. He's been doing it for a lot of years. I actually worked with the FBI on a case before, and helping find somebody on Google Earth and a body, and I did, and it was amazing. And I'm really good at Google Earth. And so I'm gonna show everybody else something else here, Joe. So not only are these giants living there, and we're just, you know, our world is just, they tell us things and we hear things and then we're like, okay. So there's a story that I seen that was out there, and it's an older story, and the guy talks about he's some kind of power line architect guy, whatever, got a lot of money.
Yeah.
He owns a company, and he finds these eggs and takes these eggs back, these dinosaur eggs, back to his house. He takes pictures, shows pictures of one open or whatever, the dead one. This hit like a Times paper back in the day. And he also said he put the eggs in the shed, and I think it was 2 days later, something busted through the shed out of the eggs, hatched, and something busted, and they were gone. And showed the busted spot.
Crazy.
There's a whole video on it. So I'm watching this, and I'm like, this guy is a really smart guy, and he has a real good company, and he's not going to ruin his reputation and all that shit.
Yeah,
and
What's
he's not going to
gain
do
from
that, man.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Men like that
Yeah.
and women like that have really good jobs doing that kind of stuff, man, they make a lot of money. They're not going to come off with any. They're not going to tell you nothing unless it's real. That's how I
Yeah,
take
yeah.
that story. So, and
That
his
would make
wife's right there with him. He tells the story about
yeah.
it. And so I'm telling everybody because the fact that people that have seen that story maybe or know of or heard other stories, I want to tell you, everybody, that there's dinosaurs living on Salem's Island as well. And I'm going to show you
Yeah.
a picture right now. You tell me when to hold still, Joe.
Okay, that might be good. What are we looking at here? Let's see. Yeah.
You see that the legs going up to the heel, to the leg going
Yeah.
up to the belly, to the head up here. With the tail coming down, looks like one of those Jurassic Park. What do they call that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's kind of crazy looking, man.
And that nuts. Look at his heels as his feet come up. You
Yeah,
can see
this
the
is
heel.
crazy, man.
You can see the thigh and the leg right there.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? You can see his two front little hands. And
Yeah.
it looks just like the dinosaur they show us, man. Similar. You know what I mean? We can't tell because we're not seeing it up really, but you know, it looks damn similar to that one crazy ass
Which that
dinosaur.
would be big, you know. That would be enormous, you know.
Oh yeah.
It would be enormous. It's crazy.
And I believe I measured that as well somewhere. Oh, here's an even better one. That's kind of a cleared up picture, but here's with a little more color detail to it, man.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
Great.
Dinosaur, baby, right there. Some sort of damn dinosaur giant, or it's a giant looks like a dinosaur. That's wild, man. Wild shit.
I'll tell you, man, the giants, they come up with some interesting ways to camouflage, to blend in with the trees, and we've sure seen that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you think, well, but, you know, if you're 60, 80 feet, all you can do is pretend to be a tree or a shadow or fit in with them somehow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, believe it or not, they do this, and it appears to be very effective because we're just now talking about finding them, you know, or other people would be like, oh, that's... But then you get people talking about these trees moving in the forest.
Oh,
and
yeah, I've heard of people talk about
this might be, you know... I mean, realizing that a giant could actually uproot a tree and carry it with him to hide behind might be hard to understand, but that would be so easy for them, you know.
Here's another one, Joe. This is pretty crazy because I've showed Joe a picture of one of the pictures of my friend took, and it's a giant with a horse head. So,
yeah.
But I don't understand if this is a wolf or if this is a dog. But it almost looks like he's got hoofs in front, like legs going down like a horse, but in front. But it's a giant. And not only that, he's got these guys on the ground with guns. And I measured them, and they're in the 20 foots, man. They're 24 foots or bigger. So I don't know if he has something in his arms. So I'm going to show this picture, and hopefully everybody can see it. It's got a lot of detail.
Yeah, that's a big dude there. Looks like, see, you got to get, over to the right.
There's his mouth. It goes up his head to his eye. Now I'm going to back up and hopefully everybody can see it. There's his hoofs in the front or whatever.
Dude, that's
Look
crazy.
At that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man.
And like I say, I'll post these pictures on Google on a YouTube post and group room so everyone can see them. It's like, what's in his arms? Are those his arms balled out?
YouTube, man. Trying to get our YouTube going.
You know, it's wild, man. Here's another one for everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, let me see if I can get... This camera is new to me. So there you guys go. Now you can see them standing there. And you also see these guys on the ground. It looks like they have guns. Look at this shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, is that creature working with these guys? Because these guys in the picture that I took this are aiming these guns this way at a creature. There's creatures, giants, that they're looking at.
There you go.
And they're aiming those guns at it. And there's not only him, there's another guy. If I show another picture, you'll see down there with that guy. And this might be one too right here. But, I mean, look at the detail in that dude. You can see his paws coming up bent. Coming down to the hoof. Look at the hoof looking. Or whatever the hell that is. Look at the eye ridge. Up there, and look at the eye ridge right there. I mean,
there's a lot
wild,
of ways
man.
That it could be.
Is that the dog man? But this guy has military guys or something with him. These guys are giant. Some kind of giants with some kind of weapon. Looks like a gun. It's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And it's crazy to see the
Joe, look at that picture for a minute. Look at that picture for a minute. Yeah. I'm going to try to point something out. I'm going to grab this pop bottle. And that almost looks like some kind of giant sitting right there. Look at the head. I've got the pop bottle on the head, maybe. And then I'm going to move this, and it almost looks like they're sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
See it back there?
Yep. Yep. I do, man. This is how it is. It's so hard to get
whatever the hell that is.
It
looks like titty boobies on it. Sorry. He looks almost... Is that a female? Looks like boobies or something on a giant. You see it? Damn it. I'm going to have to post these pictures for everybody. Yeah, it's probably a female giant or something, or a Bigfoot. Yeah. I don't know, man. But
you never know. So.
Those guys are facing some creature-looking giants, like me and Joe have seen. And it's like, are they about to fight the creature-looking giant, or is
right? You're trying to see, like, is this a drama unfolding, or are they working together? Are they all doing something? Are they settling the difference? It's like,
and I want to show you guys something. This is going to blow your mind.
What do you got there?
Tell me when you can see the numbers.
Oh, I can't see it right now. I'm too close. 59 feet.
59 fucking feet. Almost
59.
60 feet tall, Joe.
Yeah.
Almost 60
it's hard
feet
to
tall.
Believe, man. It's hard to find them that big.
Amazing
but it's
stuff.
True.
I mean, we could go on and on and on. And there's a lot of pictures of different aliens. And ones with big old heads with... I mean, this...
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I
took a picture of one that was, 40 meters. 40 meters. 40 meters times 3 is the feet. 40 times 3. 120 feet.
And so, Joe, that picture I showed tonight with the head laying on the ground and the skull in the back... And when I post a regular picture, you can zoom in and you can see it a lot better than the video because I'm trying to hold still. But you can zoom in and on the regular picture.
We're just getting started on that. We'll get better at that, though.
You'll be able to zoom in on the picture, everybody. Check it out because you can see detail. You can see eyes on the aliens. You can see their faces when you zoom in. You can see the giant head on the ground. Looks like it has skin still on, like it's a fresh cut head.
Yeah.
And then there's one behind it. And then you'll be able to see the Bigfoot giant-looking creatures hanging out. Just standing there with the gray aliens. They're not fighting them. They're not fearing them. They're not... There's nothing.
It's really interesting that they're all working together there.
It's kind of weird there, Joe. It kind of makes me think...
that they're kind of all on the same team or something.
Uh-huh. And maybe those gray aliens are the creators
all,
over there.
Together.
And I hate to say it to everybody, but maybe the gray aliens are out of control creating things.
You never know, man.
What was the story of Atlantis? Was Atlantis supposed to be some sort of entity that got out of hand creating creatures with humanoids and shit, and supposedly it got sank. Because that's what I heard
Well,
when I was young.
there was.
I don't know. I heard that when I was young.
It was a Poseidon thing, and of course Poseidon, I believe, took a wife who was a human, and Poseidon obviously would be like a little g god or one of these fallen angels, and he takes a wife, and he has like 7 sons, 7. I don't know if they're twins or how that worked, but there were 7 sons, and the first son was Atlas, and of course Atlas was the king of Atlantis, and of course this was a widely known to be a huge seafaring nation. They were extremely rich, and this was what was called the Golden Age. You know, when they were existing, when they had all this knowledge, and of course, Atlantis was wiped out by a great catastrophe, and they say they'll never speak of mud again. They'll never speak of sand and mud, because apparently there's a strait, and I've seen it. It's a long straight wall at the right side of the eye of the Sahara. I believe Atlantis was in the eye of the Sahara, by the way. And there's a lot of evidence for that, and people can fight about that. But I've personally done work on that, and I've found stuff in the eye of the Sahara that is very compelling. That's
almost
another
makes
place
you wonder now, Joe, if that light that leaves and comes every couple days, maybe they're picking or abducting somebody and bringing them to the island, and then they create some kind of creature out of it, go get something else, bring it back, you know. And maybe they're mixing the DNA and the together.
Yeah.
Somehow.
The fact that they notice it with a regularity is interesting. The fact that they're all talking about it tells you that it happens all the time. And it's unusual to them, or he wouldn't be noting it. And so
it's pretty funny, though, if you think about it. It's all these abductions, and why and what for. Why and what for? A lot of people say they've been abducted. Like the other day, we were talking about somebody being Travis Walton being abducted, and so you know, Travis, I believe I believe he got too close to the spaceship and got hurt, and they took him to help him and put him back to, you know, heal him and give him back and put him back.
I believe
no harm intended. And
he got zapped, and then they picked him up and did something, and he came out of that. But that was.
Some people are abducted and they walk and they come back, and some people we have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Some people we have no idea because we don't know if they're. It's pretty funny how like Missing 411 has people that will have a kid or whatever's missing in the woods and one of those state park forests, and they'll find him 2 miles away with his clothes folded. And you see all that weird stuff. It's like
here you got to move your camera over right. Move your camera over right a little.
Right there.
Just a little bit. Yeah. Are you?
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of stories that you know go on like that, and which these could be giants, or they could be entities, or aliens, and they could be abducting certain creatures, taking them back, and mixing that breed of whatever. I was thinking earlier that I read up a lot on chimpanzees, and chimpanzees, bless you, Joe, and bless you.
I need it.
And chimpanzees share 97% of our DNA. So 97%, and it almost thinks it makes me wonder if a human could breed with a chimpanzee and have a baby. And I bet you could. I bet you could, 97%. So what I'm thinking, Joe, is when that tribal man told me about the Great Walls there, and the story about what they do there over these walls. And he was telling me also some other stuff. And I started to think back, and I thought, okay, you know, you start to put everything together, and it comes together, and it's like, okay. And so maybe these entities are up there, and they think they're witch doctors because they actually can create and do shit that we can't do.
Creatures. How about this? How about we have a 1 minute Joe runs to the potty break?
No, it's okay, Joe. We can end this show, and we'll do another show, man. Let's end this show, everybody. We showed some pictures tonight. Google Earth. Everybody got to see some of that. I'll post that on the post in YouTube and the group rooms. And zoom in. If you have a Clear Up app, clear that shit up. Send it back to us if you can clear it up real good. We want to see too.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube.
Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for checking out our YouTube. Yeah. We are going to do more follow-ups on what's going on in Salem's Island and other videos on a lot of interesting topics.
We're going to try to get one more. We're going to try to get one more show in tonight. So we'll see you soon.
See you
I'll
guys.
Be right back. All right, buddy. I'll be right back.